Hi, I'm Rich Heffron. This is this week's Delaware State Chamber of Commerce Legislative Minute. I think last week I might have misled you a little bit. Actually, the legislature does not go in tomorrow. They go in next Tuesday, the 8th. Begin the last part of this session. They'll be in until the break at just before Easter, and they'll be out for a couple weeks, and they come back in. Then they're back at the end of May to work on the budget, and they'll be back in for the whole month of June. So that's the schedule. They had a little bit of a wrench was thrown into the budget when it was announced last week that they've found an extra $26 million in Medicaid costs related to increased costs of some of the treatment, especially in the area of children. They're going to have to deal with that in the budget right now. I'm not really sure where the budget is. I'm not sure anybody is certain. Revenues were up a little bit, which we talked about last time, but what all that means, we'll just have to wait and see. Board Finance Committee meeting right now. A couple other things, looking at some economic development issues. We have a group looking at entrepreneurism in Delaware. Now that the DuPont company has talked about some spin-offs from people, engineers and scientists and others in the company who may have ideas that they can grow into their own companies. Something we talked about for a while. We're looking into that and what that all mean, and why Delaware hasn't really been able to play in that area for a number of years, and it looks like something we need to start doing. I think really what we're looking at is early stage development companies that are just starting up. How do we find financing for those endeavors? It's a risky business, but it's a huge payoff when you can find a company that really grows. Last week we talked about the mill, which will be opening later this month or early next month, which is a incubator for technology-based companies. Also, another area we're looking at is the coastal zone. We've been waiting for a while to find legislation to look at the coastal zone. We believe there are several opportunities in industrial brownfield areas, environmentally damaged areas, with some changes to the coastal zone legislation. And we're going to be pushing that pretty hard because we think there are huge opportunities there for the state of Delaware. Lastly, a couple things. This is national. I mean, sure, I get this. February is National Career and Technical Education Month. We have a strong vocational system. In fact, there was an article in the paper a couple weeks ago or a couple days ago, a editorial which we will link, which talks about how successful our vocational system has been in the state of Delaware. Also, it happens to be the 50th anniversary of the founding of Delaware Technical and Community College. If many of you, if you're old enough, remember when it first opened, it opened downstate, the first Delaware Technical Community College, and then when upstate, it opened at 30th and Market, the building right at the corner of 30th and Market in a shopping center. But that's a much different school today than it was 50 years ago. Lastly, remind you, March 22nd is our spring legislative brunch and manufacturing conference. If you can, attend. I think you'll find out a lot of things about manufacturing in Delaware you didn't know before. Also, there's going to be a seminar on supply chain, which if you're in that business, whether you're in the logistics business or you're in the business of manufacturing, I think you'll find interesting. And then the governor will speak at our legislative brunch, and this is where he will update us on the state of the state and his budget and where it is, and maybe some of the changes. And I'm sure he'll discuss the extra $26 million and how they're going to cover those additional costs. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching.